In our everyday lives, we hear reports from news about the effects of our habits to our lifestyle. This may be about our interests, academic life, or health. For instance, a report by Dobok et al. Concluded that screen time among female students can cause a decline in their academic performance. This example is a justification on how things around us is related to one another. However, the question is, how can researchers and reporters conclude to such results? Hello, I am Lovely Pangilinan, your friendly classmate with a friendly graphing calculator. To answer the question raised a while ago, we need to use the Pearson correlation coefficient, or also known as the Pearson R. The Pearson R is a statistical tool used to determine relationship between two continuous variables. However, many students are discouraged in solving Pearson R due to its difficulty. Why, you say? Let's look at the Pearson R's formula. See, solving Pearson R manually takes too much time and effort. However, this can be prevented with the use of a graphing calculator such as this one. Now, let us solve some problems involving correlation analysis. Shown on the screen is the actual data showing the consumption of alcohol and the death rate from cirrhosis in 15 countries. Now, let us test if there is any relationship between the amount of alcohol intake and the death rate from cirrhosis. First thing to do is input our data in our stat table. To do that, simply press stat and press 1, or simply move the cursor to number 1 on the screen and press enter. Now, you will see the table where you can put the data. Let's say that alcohol consumption data will be the column L1 and the death rate will be column L2. First on the list is 24.7, then press enter.
A few moments later.
And lastly, 3.1. Now let's move on to the next one. Simply navigate the cursor to the top and start doing the similar step for putting in the death rate data. 46.1, 23.6,
12 seconds later.
and lastly, 5.4. There we have it. We are done encoding our data. The next step, we will be analyzing our data using the Pearson R correlation tool. To do that, simply press stat again. Move the cursor to the calc section. Since we are trying to get the correlation coefficient of our data, let us select option 4, or the Limreg function, which is the correlation coefficient function. By default, the graphing calculator will treat L1 as the X variable and L2 as the Y variable. Since we do not have any variable than these two, we are good to go. And select calculate and press enter, and ta-da! The first two values on the screen are the coefficient of our regression value, which is A is equal to 1.978 and B is equal to negative 5.996. Note that we have to save this information for later. Next is the R squared of the regression value. Lastly, the Pearson R correlation is what we need. Focusing on the value of Pearson R, which is equal to 0.9388, we can infer that there is a strong positive correlation between the alcohol consumption of people and the death rate from cirrhosis. Therefore, the more alcohol a person takes in, the more likely he or she will suffer from cirrhosis and die. Now, let us graph the data. For this part, we need to select the type of graph, which is the scatter plot. The next, we will draw our regression line. How will we do it? From where we left, simply press second, then press Y equals. Now select the first stat plots on the list, so press 1. Make sure that the plot is turned on. To turn it on, just move your cursor to the word on and press enter. Then move the cursor down to select the scatter plot, choose this one and press enter. Then we are ready to plot. For that, simply press graph. As you can see, the calculator plots all the points from our data. Next, we need to draw the best fit of our regression line. To do this, simply type the data that I told you to save a while ago, which is this one. To type this in, press the Y equals function and type our linear regression model. We have 1.978 times x plus negative 5.996. Then press enter. After this, press graph. There we have it. Now you can conclude that the trend of our data is rising. Therefore, there is a positive correlation between the alcohol consumption and the death rate from cirrhosis. So before you take that alcoholic beverage in, next time you spend time on your cell phone screen, think about the consequences. Once again, I am Lovely Pangilinan, your friendly classmate with a graphing calculator.